Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center of Luna Station. The walls around him showed dozens of glowing screens. Outside the thick windows, Earth hung in space like a blue marble. Jake had been watching those screens for 3 hours now. Something was coming. The warning signals had started at dawn. Deep space sensors picked up strange readings from beyond the solar system. Ships were coming. Big ships. Ships that did not belong to Earth. "Sir, we have a message coming in," said Lieutenant Amy Brooks. She was young but smart. Her fingers moved fast across her control panel. "It's not from any Earth ship." Jake walked over to her station. "Put it on the main screen." The center screen flickered to life. What appeared made everyone in the room go quiet. A creature stood before them. It had gray skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were completely black. Strange symbols covered its dark uniform. "People of Earth," the creature said. Its voice was cold and flat. "I am Commander Vex Thull of the Zephyrian Collective. We have watched your world for many years. We know everything about you." Jake felt his hands make fists. He had feared this day would come. Earth was not alone in the galaxy. They had known that for 50 years. But this was the first time aliens had contacted them directly. "Your species is weak," Vex Thull continued. "You fight among yourselves. You pollute your world. You have barely learned to travel between planets. The Collective has ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years. We bring order to chaos." The alien paused. Behind him, Jake could see the inside of a massive ship. Other gray creatures moved about, working at strange machines. "We offer you one choice," Vex Thull said. "Surrender now and become part of the Collective. Your world has resources we need. Your people will serve us. In return, we will let you live." Jake's jaw tightened. Around him, the other officers looked scared. This was humanity's worst nightmare coming true. "You have 30 of your Earth days to decide," the alien commander said. "If you refuse, we will destroy your world completely. Every city, every person, nothing will remain. This is not a threat. This is a promise." The screen went dark. For a long moment, nobody spoke. The only sound was the soft hum of the station's computers. Then Lieutenant Brooks cleared her throat. "Sir, should I contact Earth Command?" Jake nodded slowly. "Get me President Carter, emergency channel, and wake up everyone on the Global Defense Council. We have work to do." 20 minutes later, Jake was talking to the most powerful people on Earth. President Lisa Carter appeared on his screen from the White House. General Rick Stone joined from Pentagon. Admiral Kate Phillips connected from Pacific Fleet Headquarters. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jake said, "we just received first contact with an alien species, and they want us to surrender." President Carter looked tired. She had been dealing with problems on Earth all day. Now this. "Admiral Morrison, what exactly are we facing?" Jake replayed the alien message. When it finished, General Stone was the first to speak. "How many ships do they have?" "Our deep space sensors show about 200 vessels," Jake replied. "Each one is 3 times larger than our biggest warship." Admiral Phillips shook her head. "Our entire space fleet has maybe 50 ships. Most of them are cargo vessels or research ships. We have 12 real warships. That's it." "What about our weapons?" President Carter asked. "Ma'am," General Stone said quietly, "our weapons are designed to fight other humans. We have no idea if they will work against alien technology." The room fell silent again. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Earth was helpless. Then a new voice joined the call. Perhaps not completely helpless. A man appeared on screen. He was older, with gray hair and tired eyes. Dr. Alex Turner worked for a part of the government that most people did not know existed. "Dr. Turner," President Carter said with surprise, "I didn't expect you to join this call. Ma'am, I think it's time you learned about Project Dark Fleet." Jake had heard whispers about Dr. Turner's work. Secret projects, hidden facilities, technology that officially did not exist. 50 years ago, Dr. Turner began, We found our first crashed alien ship in the Nevada desert, then another in the Pacific Ocean, then more. For 5 decades, we have been studying their technology, learning from it. Admiral Phillips leaned forward. Are you saying we have alien technology? I'm saying we have something better, Dr. Turner replied. We have human technology based on alien designs. We have made it better. President Carter looked confused. What exactly are you telling us, Doctor? Dr. Turner's tired face showed the smallest smile. Ma'am, what I'm telling you is that Earth is not as helpless as these aliens think. For 50 years, we have been preparing for this day, and we are ready. Jake felt something stir in his chest. Hope. The Black Armada has been waiting in the shadows, Dr. Turner continued. 500 ships, built in secret, powered by technology the aliens think only they possess. They expect us to kneel. Instead, we're going to show them what happens when you threaten humanity. President Carter stared at the screen. 500 ships? How is that possible? Because sometimes the best defense is the one your enemy never sees coming, Dr. Turner said. And right now, the Zephyrians have no idea what we're really capable of. Jake looked out at Earth, hanging in space. 30 days. The aliens had given humanity 30 days to surrender. They thought it would be easy. They thought humans were weak and frightened. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Turner, Jake said, when do we strike? The old scientist's smile grew wider. Admiral, we don't strike. We let them come to us. And then we show them that humanity doesn't kneel to anyone. Outside the window, Earth continued to turn peacefully in space, but beneath that peaceful surface, humanity was preparing for war. The aliens wanted a fight. Soon, they would get one. Captain Sam Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the ESV Nightfall. Around him, the ship hummed with quiet power. But nobody could see the Nightfall. Nobody could detect it on any scanner. The ship was invisible, floating in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. Sam was not alone. 499 other ships waited with him in the black of space. They were spread throughout the solar system, hidden and waiting. The aliens had no idea they existed. Captain, said Lieutenant Tony Clark from his engineering station, all systems are running perfectly. The stealth field is holding steady. Sam nodded. For 3 weeks now, his ship had been hiding in space. The waiting was the hardest part, but they had to be patient. The plan required perfect timing. On Earth, things looked very different. President Carter appeared on television every day. She looked worried. She held meetings with world leaders. She talked about the difficult choice Earth faced, surrender or die. But it was all an act. Sir, we're getting a message from Earth Command, said Lieutenant Amy Brooks from her communications post. Sam walked over to her station. Put it through. Admiral Morrison's face appeared on the small screen. Even he looked tired and worried. But Sam knew the truth. The Admiral was playing his part perfectly. Captain Rodriguez, how are things out there? All quiet, sir. No alien activity in our sector. How are things on Earth? The Zephyrians are taking the bait. They think we're scared and confused. Their ships are moving into position around our planet. They expect us to surrender in 7 days. Sam smiled. Any word from the other teams? Dr. Turner's people finished their work yesterday. Every ship in the fleet now has the new weapons. Dr. White says her electromagnetic pulse system is ready to test. This was the part Sam was most excited about. Dr. Helen White had discovered something important about the aliens. Their technology depended on computer systems connected directly to their brains. If those systems failed, the aliens would be helpless. What about intelligence gathering? Sam asked. Lieutenant Commander Brooks has teams on every outer colony. They're watching alien movements and reporting back. The Zephyrians are being very careless. They don't think we're a threat. Sam understood why. To the aliens, humans looked primitive. Earth's public space fleet was small and outdated. The weapons were simple. The ships were slow. Why would advanced aliens worry about such weak enemies? They did not know about the crashed ships. They did not know about 50 years of secret research. They did not know about the hidden shipyards on the dark side of the moon. They did not know about the Black Armada. "Captain," Tony Clark called out, "we're getting a signal from the ESV Shadow. Captain Grant reports alien scouts moving through the asteroid belt." Sam walked back to the center of his bridge. "Are they close enough to detect us?" "No, sir. We're running silent and cold. As far as their sensors know, there's nothing here but empty space." That was the beauty of the stealth system. Human engineers had improved on alien technology. The original alien ships could hide from other aliens, but human ships could hide from everyone. The waiting continued. Every day brought new reports. The Zephyrian fleet was growing larger around Earth. More ships arrived from deep space. The aliens were bringing enough firepower to destroy Earth's surface 10 times over. But they were also making mistakes. "Sir," Amy Brooks said during the 4th week, "we're intercepting alien communications. Dr. White was right about their computer systems. Every message goes through their brain implants first." Sam was interested. "Can we interfere with those implants?" "Dr. White thinks so. She's designed electromagnetic pulse weapons specifically to disrupt their cybernetic systems. If we hit them with the right frequency, their command structure should collapse." This was perfect. The aliens' greatest strength would become their greatest weakness. On the 28th day, Sam received new orders. The Black Armada was to move into final positions. The moment of truth was almost here. "All hands, this is the captain," Sam announced to his crew. "Tomorrow we reveal ourselves to the galaxy. For 50 years, Earth has prepared for this day. The aliens think they're facing a weak species that will surrender without a fight. They're about to learn how wrong they are." The crew cheered quietly. They had trained for years for this mission. They were ready. That night, Sam stood alone on his bridge. Through the windows, he could see stars everywhere. Somewhere out there were other worlds, other species. Some were free. Some were slaves of the collective. Soon, that would change. His communication system beeped. Messages were coming in from across the solar system. Captain Lisa Grant reported from the shadow near Neptune. Major Paul Jackson sent word from his fighter squadron hiding in Saturn's rings. Colonel Beth Turner confirmed that the lunar defense platforms were ready. The Black Armada was in position. Sam thought about Earth. 3 billion years ago, life had started there in tiny pools of water. Humans had climbed out of those pools. They had learned to make tools. They had discovered fire. They had built cities and ships and eventually reached for the stars. Now aliens wanted to make Earth kneel. They wanted to make humanity into slaves. They thought it would be easy because humans looked weak. But humans had never been weak. They had always been survivors. They had always found ways to fight back against larger, stronger enemies. This time would be no different. "Sir," Amy Brooks said softly. "Incoming message from Dr. Turner on Earth." Sam turned to face her station. "What does he say?" "Final weapon systems are online. All ships report ready. The electromagnetic pulse generators are charged and targeting alien command frequencies." Sam nodded. Everything was ready. The aliens expected to receive Earth's surrender tomorrow. Instead, they would get the surprise of their lives. "Send a message to all ships in the fleet," Sam ordered. "Tomorrow we stop hiding. Tomorrow we show the galaxy that humanity will never kneel." As his message went out to 500 hidden ships, Sam looked toward Earth. The planet looked so small and peaceful from this distance. The aliens thought they were about to conquer it easily. They had no idea that Earth's children were about to bite back. The 30th day had arrived. Commander Vexthal stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the small blue world below. 200 Zephyrian ships surrounded Earth in perfect formation. The humans had been silent for hours. "Commander," said his second officer, "we are receiving a transmission from the planet's surface." Vexthal smiled. Finally, the humans were ready to surrender. This had been easier than expected. "Put it on the main screen." The face of Admiral Morrison appeared. The human looked tired and defeated. "Perfect." "Commander Vexthal," Morrison said slowly, "Earth has made its decision. Excellent, Vexthul replied. I trust you have prepared the surrender documents? Morrison was quiet for a moment. Then something strange happened. The human smiled. You wanted to see humanity kneel, Morrison said. Instead, you're going to see us rise. Vexthul felt confused. What are you talking about, human? Morrison's smile grew wider. Look around you, Commander. Look very carefully. Suddenly, alarms started ringing throughout the Zephyrian ship. Officers were shouting. Vexthul spun around to face his sensor station. What is happening? He demanded. Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. Ships are appearing everywhere. Vexthul looked at the main display screen. What he saw made his blood turn cold. Ships were appearing out of nothing, dozens of them, then hundreds. Black ships with sleek designs he had never seen before. How many? He whispered. 500 ships, sir. All of human design, all heavily armed. Vexthul stared at the screen in shock. This was impossible. Humans were primitive. They had barely learned to travel between planets. Where had these ships come from? In the asteroid belt, Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Nightfall. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment for years. All ships, this is Captain Rodriguez, he said into his communicator. Operation Dark Rise is now active. Engage stealth disruptors and show them what humanity can do. Across the solar system, 500 black ships suddenly became visible. They had been hiding in plain sight, waiting for this moment. Now they revealed themselves like ghosts materializing from the darkness. The effect on the Zephyrian fleet was immediate. Alien ships that had been in perfect formation suddenly broke apart as captains tried to understand what was happening. They had been completely surprised. All fighters launch now, Rodriguez commanded. Major Paul Jackson was already in his cockpit. His fighter, the ESV Raven, shot out of the Nightfall's hangar bay. Behind him came 50 more fighters, all painted in the same light-absorbing black as the main ships. Raven Squadron, target the alien command ships, Jackson said to his pilots. Use the electromagnetic pulse weapons. Let's shut down their computer systems. Jackson's fighter was fast and agile. It moved through space like a hunting bird. The aliens tried to target him, but their weapons could not lock onto his ship. Human stealth technology was better than anything the Zephyrians had. He lined up his shot on a large alien cruiser. Firing electromagnetic pulse, he announced. An invisible wave of energy struck the alien ship. Immediately, lights began going out across its hull. The ship started to drift as its systems failed one by one. Direct hit, Jackson called out. Their computers are shutting down. Dr. White had been right. The aliens depended too much on their cybernetic implants. When those implants stopped working, the aliens became confused and helpless. On the lunar surface, Colonel Beth Turner stood in a hidden command center. Around her, massive defense platforms were rising from beneath the moon's surface. For 50 years, humans had been building these weapons in secret. All lunar platforms, this is Turner, she said into her microphone. Target the alien flagship and fire. Beams of pure energy shot across space from the moon to the Zephyrian command ship. The alien shields flared and failed. Explosions erupted across the ship's hull. Vexthul was thrown to the floor as his ship shook violently. Around him, control panels were exploding. His officers were crying out in pain as their cybernetic implants malfunctioned. Damage report, he shouted. Sir, our main systems are failing. The humans are using some kind of weapon that targets our neural interfaces. Half our fleet cannot respond to orders. Vexthul struggled to his feet. This was not how things were supposed to go. Humans were weak. Humans were primitive. How were they winning? Captain Rodriguez watched the battle from his bridge. The Nightfall was in the thick of the fighting, its weapons tearing through alien ships like they were made of paper. Human technology had surpassed alien designs. Captain, reported Tony Clark, our new armor is working perfectly. Alien weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Rodriguez nodded. Target their weapons systems. Let's disable as many as we can. The Nightfall fired its main guns. The weapons used technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien ships, but improved by human engineers. The beams cut through alien hulls like hot knives through butter. Across the solar system, similar scenes were playing out. Captain Lisa Grant and the ESV Shadow were hunting down alien ships near Neptune. Her tactical skills were proving that humans could outfight aliens in space combat. "Shadow to all ships," Grant reported. "We've destroyed 12 enemy vessels in our sector. The aliens are trying to retreat." But retreat was not easy. The Black Armada had surrounded the Zephyrian fleet. Everywhere the aliens turned, they found human ships waiting for them. Lieutenant Dan Foster led a boarding party onto a disabled alien ship. His team moved through the corridors carefully, their weapons ready. The aliens inside were helpless without their computers. "Foster to Nightfall," he reported. "We've secured the alien ship. Their databanks are intact. Dr. Turner is going to love this." The information they found was incredible. Star charts showing the location of every world in the collective, military codes, details about other species that had been conquered by the aliens. In the space of 1 hour, the battle was over. 2/3 of the Zephyrian fleet had been destroyed or disabled. The rest were trying to escape, but human ships were faster and more maneuverable. Vex Thul's flagship was drifting helplessly. Most of his crew was unconscious. The electromagnetic pulse weapons had overloaded their cybernetic implants. "Sir," his sensor officer said weakly, "the humans are demanding our surrender." Vex Thul looked at the tactical display. Red symbols showed destroyed Zephyrian ships. Blue symbols showed the black human fleet that had appeared from nowhere. There were so many blue symbols. "How?" he whispered. "How did they do this?" On the communications screen, Admiral Morrison appeared again, but now he looked different, confident, strong. "Commander Vex Thul," Morrison said, "you made a mistake. You thought humanity was weak because you only saw what we wanted you to see. For 50 years we have been preparing for species like yours. We learned from your technology. We made it better." Vex Thul stared at the human face on his screen. "This is impossible. Your species barely knows how to travel between planets." Morrison laughed. "That's what we wanted you to think. The truth is, humans have been studying your kind for decades. Every crashed ship, every piece of technology, every weakness in your defenses. We know everything about you." Around Earth, the Black Armada held position. 500 ships that should not have existed, ships that proved humanity was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. "You came here expecting us to kneel," Morrison continued. "Instead, you've awakened something that will change this galaxy forever. Humanity is done hiding. We're done being afraid. And we're coming for the rest of your collective." Vex Thul realized the terrible truth. Earth had not been conquered. Earth had been waiting for the right moment to reveal what humans were really capable of. The galaxy was about to change forever. The surviving Zephyrian ships were running. Commander Vex Thul's flagship was destroyed, but 37 alien vessels had escaped the first battle. They were scattered throughout the solar system, trying to reach the edge of space where they could jump to faster than light speed. Admiral Phillips stood in the war room on Luna Station. Around her, dozens of screens showed the positions of fleeing alien ships. She was not going to let them escape. "All ships, this is Admiral Phillips," she announced to the Black Armada. "Operation Dark Chase is now active. We will hunt down every alien ship in our system. None of them can be allowed to return to the collective with information about our capabilities." Captain Lisa Grant received the order aboard the ESV Shadow. Her ship was near Pluto, tracking 3 alien vessels that were trying to reach the outer system. The aliens thought they could hide in the darkness beyond the planets. They were wrong. "Helm, take us to intercept course," Grant ordered. "Engineering, prepare the quantum drive. We're going to show these aliens what human ships can really do." The Shadow accelerated to impossible speeds. Human engineers had taken alien faster-than-light technology and improved it. Now human ships were faster than anything the collective had ever built. Grant watched her tactical display as the distance to the alien ships decreased rapidly. "Weapons, target their engines. We want them disabled, not destroyed. Lieutenant Foster needs prisoners for interrogation. The Shadow's weapons fired with perfect accuracy. The 3 alien ships found their engines failing one by one. They drifted helplessly as the black human ship approached. "This is Captain Grant of the Earth vessel Shadow," she transmitted to the aliens. "Surrender now, and you will be treated according to the rules of war. Resist, and you will be destroyed." The aliens had no choice. Their ships were crippled and their weapons were no match for human technology. One by one, they powered down their weapons and prepared to be boarded. Meanwhile, near Jupiter, Captain Rodriguez was leading a different kind of hunt. 5 Zephyrian destroyers were hiding in the planet's massive radiation field, thinking the interference would mask their signatures. "Captain," reported Amy Brooks from her sensor station, "the aliens are using Jupiter's magnetic field to scramble our scanners." Rodriguez smiled. "Then we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Launch all fighters. Tell Major Jackson to sweep the radiation zones manually." Major Paul Jackson and his Raven Squadron had become experts at hunting alien ships. His fighters spread out through Jupiter's dangerous radiation field, using their advanced shielding to protect themselves from the deadly energy. "Raven leader to nightfall," Jackson reported. "I've found them. 5 destroyers hiding behind the Great Red Spot. They're trying to repair their faster-than-light drives." "Can you stop them?" Rodriguez asked. "Already on it, sir, firing electromagnetic pulse missiles." Jackson's fighters unleashed their special weapons. The electromagnetic pulses traveled through space and struck the alien ships. Immediately, the aliens' computer systems began failing again. Their repairs stopped as their cybernetic implants overloaded. "Direct hits on all targets," Jackson announced. "The aliens are dead in space." On Earth, Dr. Alex Turner was studying the intelligence gathered from captured alien ships. Lieutenant Dan Foster's boarding parties had secured massive amounts of data from Zephyrian computers. "This is incredible," Dr. Turner told President Carter during their secure communication. "We now have complete star charts of collective space. We know the location of every major military base, every conquered world, every supply depot." President Carter looked amazed. "How much territory does the collective control?" "Over 3,000 star systems," Dr. Turner replied. "But here's the interesting part. Most of the species in the collective are slaves, just like they wanted to make us. The Zephyrians rule through fear and superior technology. What does that mean for us?" Dr. Turner's eyes lit up with possibilities. "It means we have potential allies throughout collective space. Species that would love to be free. If we can liberate even a few worlds, we could start a revolution that spreads across the entire galaxy." Meanwhile, the hunt for alien survivors continued. Near Saturn, Colonel Beth Turner was coordinating attacks from the lunar defense platforms. Her weapons could reach anywhere in the solar system with perfect accuracy. "Target acquired," she announced. "Zephyrian heavy cruiser attempting to hide in Saturn's rings. Firing orbital strike platforms." Beams of energy crossed the vast distance from Earth's moon to Saturn in seconds. The alien ship's shields flared and collapsed. Another enemy vessel was disabled and ready for capture. As the hours passed, the scattered alien ships were found one by one. Human technology made it impossible for them to hide. Human speed made it impossible for them to run. Human weapons made it impossible for them to fight. Dr. Helen White was working with the captured aliens, studying their cybernetic implants. What she discovered was disturbing. "Admiral Morrison," she reported to Luna Station, "these implants don't just help the aliens control their technology, they control the aliens themselves. The Zephyrians have cybernetic chips in their brains that force them to obey orders." Morrison felt sick. "Are you saying the aliens are slaves too?" "The common soldiers are, yes. Their implants make it impossible for them to disobey commands or think independent thoughts. Only the high-ranking officers have free will." This changed everything. The collective was not just an empire of conquerors. It was a system of total control where entire species were turned into mindless servants through technology. Lieutenant Commander Amy Brooks was intercepting alien communications from across the galaxy. The electromagnetic pulse weapons had damaged many alien implants, allowing her to listen to their panicked messages. "Sir," she reported to Admiral Phillips, "we're hearing reports from all over collective space. The aliens are terrified. They're calling Earth the Shadow World and warning other fleets to stay away from human territory." Phillips smiled grimly. "Good. Fear will work in our favor." But the most important discovery came from the alien flagship's computers. Dr. Turner's team found something that made everyone stop and stare. "Admiral," Dr. Turner called Morrison urgently, "you need to see this. The aliens have detailed files on dozens of species they've conquered, including one that will interest you greatly." On the screen appeared information about a species called the Krillians. They had been conquered by the Collective 50 years ago. But according to the files, some Krillian ships had escaped and were still fighting a guerrilla war against their oppressors. "Sir," Dr. Turner continued, "the Krillians have been trying to organize a resistance movement. They've been waiting for someone with the technology and military power to challenge the Collective directly." Morrison understood immediately. "They've been waiting for someone like us." "Exactly. And now they know we exist. I'm already receiving coded transmissions from Krillian resistance cells. They want to join forces with Earth." Admiral Phillips joined the conversation from her command center. "How long before we can mount a rescue operation?" "The nearest Krillian resistance base is 12 light-years away," Dr. Turner replied. "With our improved faster-than-light drives, we could reach them in 6 days." President Carter made the decision quickly. "Do it. Send a diplomatic mission with military escort. Let's see if we can turn this galaxy-wide empire into a galaxy-wide revolution." As the last alien ship was captured near the edge of the solar system, humanity began planning its next move. The Zephyrians had come to Earth expecting easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Captain Rodriguez stood on his bridge, looking out at the stars. Somewhere in that vast darkness were billions of enslaved beings, waiting for someone to break their chains. "Mr. Clark," he said to his engineer, "how long before we can outfit the entire fleet for extended operations?" 2 weeks, sir. Dr. Turner's people are installing improved weapons and life support systems on every ship." Rodriguez nodded. The Black Armada had been designed to defend Earth. Now it would become something much more important. It would become the fleet of liberation the galaxy had been waiting for. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Earth. The solar system had become humanity's fortress and launching point for operations across the galaxy. Today, the largest military operation in human history was about to begin. Captain Sam Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Nightfall, but his ship looked very different now. Human engineers had upgraded every system. New weapons lined the hull. Advanced shields protected the ship. Most importantly, faster-than-light drives had been improved to travel distances that would have taken years in just days. "Captain," reported Lieutenant Amy Brooks, "we're receiving final confirmation from all task forces. The Liberation Fleet is ready to depart." Rodriguez looked out at the assembled Armada. 1,000 ships now carried Earth's banner. The original Black Armada had been joined by newly constructed vessels built in the expanded shipyards around Earth and Mars. Each ship carried the best technology humanity had ever created. But they were not alone. "Sir, we're getting a message from the Krillian ships," Brooks announced. On the main screen appeared the face of Fleet Commander Zixtar, leader of the Krillian resistance. His species looked similar to humans, but with blue-gray skin and large golden eyes. Most importantly, those eyes showed the fire of freedom that had kept his people fighting for 50 years. "Captain Rodriguez," Zixtar said, "my people are honored to fight alongside Earth. Today we begin the liberation of the galaxy." Rodriguez smiled. "The honor is ours, Commander. Are your forces ready?" 200 Krillian ships stand ready. We also have confirmation from resistance cells on 17 worlds. When we attack the collective fortress at Nexus Prime, uprisings will begin across their empire. This was the plan that had taken months to develop. Instead of fighting the collective ship by ship, world by world, humanity would strike at the heart of their empire. Nexus Prime was the central command world where the collective coordinated control over 3,000 star systems. Admiral Kate Phillips appeared on the communications screen from her flagship, the ESV Liberation. All ships, this is Admiral Phillips. Today we carry the torch of freedom to worlds that have been enslaved for centuries. We go not as conquerors, but as liberators. The galaxy will remember this day. President Lisa Carter spoke from Earth. To every human crew member, to our Krillian allies, to the resistance fighters waiting across the stars, you carry the hopes of billions. Show them that tyranny cannot stand forever. Show them that freedom will always find a way. The fleet began to move. 1,200 ships accelerated toward the edge of the solar system. When they reached the jump point, they would travel 12,000 light-years in less than a week. It was a distance that would have taken the original Zephyrian ships months to cover. During the journey, Rodriguez studied the intelligence reports. Dr. Alex Turner's teams had spent months analyzing captured alien data. They knew everything about Nexus Prime's defenses, about the collective's military structure, about the cybernetic control systems that kept billions of beings enslaved. "Captain," said Chief Engineer Tony Clark, "Dr. White wanted me to report that the new electromagnetic pulse weapons are ready. These should be powerful enough to disable every cybernetic implant on the planet simultaneously." This was the key to their plan. The collective ruled through technology implanted in people's brains. If they could disable those implants across an entire world, billions of enslaved beings would suddenly be free to think for themselves. Major Paul Jackson was preparing his fighter squadrons for what would be the largest space battle in galactic history. "Sir, intelligence reports suggest the collective has 800 ships defending Nexus Prime. Are you sure we can handle those odds?" Rodriguez was confident. "Major, 6 months ago the aliens thought 200 ships could conquer Earth. They learned that numbers don't matter when your enemy has better technology and stronger motivation. The truth was that human technology had advanced incredibly fast. Every captured alien ship provided new insights. Every liberated world would provide more allies. Humanity was not just fighting a war, they were starting a revolution." On the 5th day of their journey, they arrived at Nexus Prime. The world was massive, 3 times larger than Earth. Huge cities covered its surface. Orbital platforms surrounded it like a metal shell. Most importantly, it was defended by the largest fleet the collective had ever assembled. "All ships, battle stations," Admiral Phillips commanded. "Operation Galaxy Dawn is now active." The human and Krillian ships spread out into attack formation. They had practiced this maneuver dozens of times. Every captain knew their role. "Sir," reported Amy Brooks, "we're detecting massive electromagnetic signatures from the planet. The collective is powering up their planetary defense grid." Rodriguez studied the tactical display. "Dr. White, are you ready with the Liberation Pulse?" Dr. Helen White's voice came through the communication system from her specialized ship, the ESV Freedom. "All systems ready, Captain. 1 pulse should disable every control implant on the planet." "Do it!" A wave of electromagnetic energy erupted from the Freedom and spread across Nexus Prime. On the planet's surface, something incredible happened. For the first time in 1,000 years, billions of enslaved beings suddenly found themselves able to think freely. The effect was immediate. Alien soldiers stopped following orders. Workers abandoned their posts. The planetary defense grid went silent as its operators realized they were fighting to protect their own oppressors. "Sir, we're receiving thousands of transmissions from the planet," Brooks reported excitedly. "The population is rising up against their collective overseers." But the space battle was just beginning. The collective fleet moved to attack, their ships dark and threatening. But they faced an enemy they had never encountered before, humans fighting for freedom. Captain Lisa Grant led the first wave of attack. Her ship, the Shadow, had become the fastest vessel in the fleet. She dove through the enemy formation, her weapons destroying alien ships with surgical precision. "Shadow to all ships," she reported. "Enemy shields are failing. Our weapons are cutting through their defenses like they're made of paper." Lieutenant Dan Foster was leading boarding parties onto captured alien command ships. "Foster to Liberation," he transmitted. We've secured the enemy flagship. Their computers contain intelligence on every collective base in this sector. The battle lasted only 3 hours. Human and Krillian ships moved through the alien fleet like hunters among prey. The collective's numerical advantage meant nothing against superior technology and tactical skill. When the last alien ship surrendered, Admiral Phillips opened communications to the entire galaxy. To every world under collective rule, this is Admiral Phillips of the Earth Liberation Fleet. Nexus Prime has fallen. The central command of your oppressors has been destroyed. The technology that enslaved your minds has been shattered. You are free. The response was immediate. Across 3,000 star systems, enslaved populations rose up against their collective overseers. Worlds that had been silent for centuries suddenly burst into celebration. Rodriguez stood on his bridge, watching as transport ships descended toward Nexus Prime. Human medical teams would help remove cybernetic implants from billions of beings. Human engineers would teach them how to rebuild their societies as free peoples. But this was just the beginning. "Captain," said Dr. Turner from his research ship, "we're receiving requests for liberation from over 200 star systems. Species we've never heard of want Earth's help in overthrowing their collective rulers." Rodriguez smiled. "Then we'd better start building more ships." President Carter's voice reached them from Earth. "Captain Rodriguez, Admiral Phillips, you have made history today. But more importantly, you've given billions of beings something they thought they had lost forever: hope." The Black Armada had begun as Earth's secret defense against alien invasion. Now it had become something much greater. It was the sword of freedom cutting through the darkness of tyranny. On worlds across the galaxy, beings who had been slaves for generations looked up at the stars with new eyes. Somewhere out there, a small blue world called Earth had sent its children to break the chains that bound them. The collective had demanded that Earth kneel. Instead, humanity had risen and lifted the entire galaxy with them. Rodriguez looked out at the stars, knowing that their work was far from over. But for the first time in 1,000 years, freedom was spreading across the galaxy like wildfire, and it would never be stopped again.